You know, some of these new terms we're coming across, like a global reset, transfer of wealth, etc., are very confusing. What do they really mean? Let us simplify it with an example that everybody is familiar with. All indications in Kenya at the moment are that the education system is going to operate like the year 2020 never existed. So what that means is that if your child was in standard 1 at the beginning of the year 2020, it is highly likely that at the beginning of the year 2021, they will still be in standard 1. Now, if you want to argue against that, based on what politicians are saying, consider the following. Is it possible, is it practical for people to cover the curriculum for an entire year in just one term? Because we've been told the earliest schools can resume is September. September is the 9th month of the year. And let's not forget that you want children to resume school in September when many parents can't put food on the table, let alone get the fare, matatu fare, or fare to pay the boda to take their children to school. Bottom line, the most optimistic projection of schools resuming in Kenya is early 2021. If you want to be realistic. Now, when all this is unfolding, there are those students who are still in school via technology, via online classes. Some parents have even hired private tutors to make sure that their children don't lose time. What that means is that all the kids who have still been in school online will proceed to the next class, and therefore they will catch up with older kids. Bottom line, the result of this global reset will be positive for those children who have still been learning, and negative for a vast majority of kids. Now, this is a perfect illustration of what the global reset is going to do right across the board. Those who have adapted and adjusted during the lockdown and restrictions will obviously be far ahead of those who have been crippled, or those whose operations have been brought to a halt by the lockdowns. And so when the restrictions are lifted, some people will be starting from scratch, others will be hitting the ground running. On a wider scale, the West, the advanced nations, have lost much more than Africa, which had nothing or very little to start with. Very simple illustration. If there's fire in a building, those who are rich in that building will lose much more than the poor. Not only that, the poor will recover much more quickly than the rich. If you're a rich man, you had several cars, you had a lot of property, you had stashed away a lot of cash, your life savings inside your house, and there's a fire, you're going to lose millions. And the emotional impact of that alone will take you quite some time to recover from. But the poor person had very little, and so they lost very little. And therefore, there's no issue of emotional impact. It's much less. They'll recover much more quickly. And there's a huge opportunity for that poor man to gather wealth, so that by the time the previously wealthy person recovers, the poor man is no longer poor. They're very wealthy. That, my friend, is the most significant advantage of the virus to those who are last, to those who are poor, to Africa. And although time is running out, there's still a window of opportunity for you to wake up and take full advantage of this opportunity that has arisen from the chaos. Take your business online. Start new businesses that heavily rely on the internet. Go into farming in a big way. vertical sack farming, etc., etc. Because it is rather obvious that food is going to be a major problem. It's going to be scarce. It's going to be very expensive. It's going to make farmers super rich overnight. Friends, rush back to the drawing board, and find a way quickly, like yesterday, to take full advantage of this once in many generations opportunity. Actually, it is an opportunity like no other the human race has ever had presented to them. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.